What dark secret are you hiding from everyone? I owe the bank $100K. Owe someone $1,000. Your problem. Owe $100,000. Their problem. Hey, bud, I think they know. I think I'm beginning to lose my mind. Lately, I've been having trouble remembering things that I've known for years. Sometimes when people talk to me, their words just don't make sense to me when everyone else seems to get it. I've become super paranoid. I'm having an extremely hard time concentrating, and I've been finding it more and more difficult to talk to people. I'm kind of scared, edit. I'm only 26, never had COVID. When I was around 5 or 6, my mom and dad were fighting just about every day. Well, I was napping on the couch when my mom came in, very upset, and she shook me awake. She asked me if I saw the girl my dad brought home. I've always felt terrible for this BC. I hadn't seen anyone but my dad that whole day. I'm pretty sure he was just playing video games like usual, but for some reason in my sleepy kid brain, I answered yes. I said she was with him in their room. I'm honestly not sure why I lied like that, but they got a divorce shortly after, and I always felt like it was my fault, until I recently found out my little sister is actually my half-sister, but that's a whole other story, edit. For clarification, my dad had been cheating with my mom's sister, and my mom was cheating with one of their friends to get back at him. She thought he was cheating with a different girl, but found out later it was my aunt. Honestly, their relationship was on its way out. I don't feel bad about it now, since a few years ago, we found out my little sister is my half-sister from the affair my mom had. I found my adoption papers a few years ago when I was looking for a copy of my birth certificate. I know my birth mom, I just never had a relationship with her. My maternal grandmother took me in 2002. I never knew she adopted me. I just knew that one day I ended up living with her after telling her one day I don't want to go back home, LL. I also found the letter that my mom wrote as to why she was giving me up. That one really hurt. I witnessed my fiance's suicide last year. I moved states afterwards and started a new life. My coworkers, clients, and new friends call me the sunshine of whatever room I walk into, but I'm completely dead inside. Even though I choose to fake it, I resent them for not seeing how up I am. Damn, I can't imagine being in your situation. I know you feel up, but I hope you realize you're important too. When my grandpa was on his deathbed, he admitted to killing fellow Marines in the Vietnam War for torturing and raping young girls. Most of our family doesn't know. Edit, wow, didn't expect this to blow up lol. Thank you for all the awards. My grandpa was a pretty cool guy, very calm and mellow, so my mom and I were shocked when he admitted this to us. He was a gunsmith his whole life and was very proud of being a Marine, but the guilt he carried from the war made him believe he was being punished in the end. He died a really painful and traumatic death that I would never wish on anybody. I hope it lets him rest easier in peace that the majority of you commend what he did. I certainly never held any qualms about it. Not a huge secret in comparison to some of these answers, but I feel the guilt of it often. After my fiance passed, I napped all the time for over a year. My aunt was calling me one day and I just denied her call, went back to napping. It was my aunt calling because my grandma, who was very sick with cancer, wanted to say happy birthday a day before my birthday. Grandma died the next day. I should have picked up the damn phone. My girlfriend started selling used pants and stuff online. Someone wanted used insoles from her shoes. I walk for about 6 hours at a time at work and often just put her insoles in my shoes. Those perverts are getting off to the smell of my sweaty feet thinking it's a girl. My wife is handicapped and I lied to her that I find it hard to clean cut up mushrooms. She has self-esteem issues because I can do things much easily than her. So I lied, and now she feels better. My wife, her mom, and I bought a house about 2 years ago. Just from talking to the neighbors, I'd gathered that the family who lived here before had a daughter that was mixed up with the wrong people. We had some random person knock on our door at night saying he needed gas. We are down a long driveway. No way you'd randomly walk up to our house to ask for help. I think he was looking for the people who used to live here. And then another time, Sunday morning, making pancakes for the family, I get a knock on the door, and it's 4 sheriff's officers saying they received a 911 call that hung up, and it was from the house. We don't have a landline, and I assured them my wife and 2-year-old did not make any call. They mentioned a name of the previous occupants, and I let them know we moved in earlier this year, and they seemed okay with that and left. Anyways, I was doing some yard work and struck up conversation with the neighbor. He saw the police cars and asked what was up. I told him the situation, and he just goes, "Oh yeah, that family was messed up. The cops were probably being cautious considering the shooting. What shooting, I ask? He kinda looks at me with a sad, worried face. The shooting in your house? Wait, what I say, truly baffled. He then proceeds to tell me that about 2 years before the father in the house confronted his daughter and boyfriend he didn't like and shot and killed the boyfriend in the house. Our state doesn't have a disclosure law, so we never knew. I was blown away. All the strange happenings kinda made sense now. He said the friends of the victim had kinda terrorized them for a while because the police were taking so long to press charges, slash tears, midnight fireworks, odd shit that the neighbors hated. I was shocked, but just said, that's crazy, but hey, do me a favor and never tell my wife or MIL about that. They're a little spooked by things like that. So the TRDL is that we live in a murder house, and I'm the only one of my family that knows. My wife and I aren't officially married. No one knows. We had a ceremony and everything, reception, the whole 9 yards. We just never did the official paperwork. We realized that since she's going back to school, it benefits her financially to go through financial aid as single rather than married. When she finishes up, we're going to head over to town hall and finish the last step. Lots of people do this, at least where I live. Big college town. Financial aid is a big factor for people, and it definitely is better to be single. Doesn't actually mean you aren't married, just that you found a way to show you love each other and that you are able to compromise with finances. Congratulations and hope you a long and happy relationship. My uncle owned an old Camaro that collected dust in his garage. When I was around 10, my family and I were in town visiting, and I wrote the word fuck in the dust on the hood of the car. I used my thumb so that the letters were fatter than my normal index finger. A few hours later, my uncle asked us who did it, and I proved it wasn't me by showing how the person who did it had bigger fingers than me. Taking that shit to my grave. Edit. This blew up. I'm 33 now, and the entire family definitely knows it was me. It's an inside joke now where someone tries to get me to admit to it, and I never will. I have to think they knew, but respected the hustle of it. Funny, lighthearted story from my childhood. My little brother was in the shower. I could hear him singing. I put a coat on backwards and a stocking cap pulled over my face and waited outside the bathroom door. He opened the door, still singing and dancing kinda, and I did the Frankenstein thing. Arms out, moaning, He screamed and fell backwards, knocking the toilet completely over. Water went everywhere. The top of the toilet tank broke, shower curtain ripped down, and him laying on the floor in the middle of all this. I ran back down the hall, coat and hat off, and sauntered back casually. By then, my mother and father and our sisters were there, and everyone is like, what the hell? I've heard him tell this story as proof of the existence of ghosts. To this day, little feller is now a 52-year-old bank manager with 2 kids. He believes in ghosts. I don't feel a bit bad. Ha ha ha, poor guy. You changed his philosophy and perception of reality. I feel guilty for someone's death. Here's the story. Years ago, I was working as a doorman to an bar pub. An obviously intoxicated older gentleman attempted to enter the establishment. Due to his inebriated state, I turned him away. He got into a skirmish nearby and died as a result. I feel that he'd be alive if I allowed him into our bar. It's a guilt I carry to this day and not many people know about. Oh, that's not your fault. I have an ex-friend I know is stealing money from people strangers on the internet who they have convinced that they have a multitude of health problem. I'm convinced they are a sociopath and or have Munchausen syndrome. This is why they are my ex-friend, and they have no idea I know, but I am waiting until they have stolen enough money that I can tip off FBI and let them deal with them. Call me petty, but they deserve to be in deep shit for preying on good people who just want to help. You don't have to wait. It's not a dark secret, I guess, but sometimes while I'm on the train to work, I try to mentally do whatever the opposite of road rage is. Like, I'll pick a person and aggressively think at them, I hope you get a crazy big tax refund, or I hope you stumble across $20 on the sidewalk, or I hope someone compliments something you're normally insecure about. I think maybe I'm trying to balance the karmic scales or something, because it seems like so many folks do the opposite without really thinking about it too much. Hope you Redditors get a really comforting hug next time you need it most. I like that. Is road kindness the opposite of road rage? I'll try that. I make up lies about what I do on the weekend. Usually I don't do much, and I'm very content with that. Others are always asking me what I'm doing, and I never had anything anything to tell them. I make up lies to get out of phone calls or plans, saying I'm out of town or with friends. I love just being left alone. I wish there was a way to explain this to people in a way that can be understood. My boyfriend always asks why I don't go out and do X, Y, or Z. He just doesn't understand that I really, truly am quite happy, content, just spending a day on the couch by myself. When I was very little, early 2000s, my sister's friend had this big Pikachu plushie that she really liked. One day we were attending some sort of event at our school, and for whatever reason, I took the Pikachu and hid it in a filing cabinet in a random classroom. As my family and I were leaving, I saw her frantically asking her mom where her Pikachu went, but I never said anything. To this day, I still feel absolutely horrible about it and almost want to track down this girl who I haven't spoken to in years and apologize for what I did.